What a wonderful opportunity it is to introduce Steve Hanna. He has been the president and CEO for The Onion for the past 7 years, and before that spent 15 years in the media industry and 10 years in the investment business. The Onion, which began from a dorm room, and I don't know about you, but nothing noteworthy ever happened in a dorm room of mine, but so that's pretty honorable. From the University of Wisconsin, has gone to be a weekly campus newspaper in 1988 to the most powerful and feared empire of the world. Yikes. Today, The Onion publishes the Onion newspaper in 12 cities, 10 million monthly viewers, publishes on the New York best sellers time list, Our Dumb Century, Our Dumb World, our front pages. Also operates the Onion Radio Network, the Onion News Network, which won the Peabody Award, not too shabby. And they also have applications on Android and iPhone. And then also to television shows, the Onion Sports Dome on Comedy Central and the Onion News Network on IFC. Hanna has worked in newspaper, radio, and TV, and started his professional career at CBS and intends to end it in The Onion. And I would say one thing that is consistent for all publishers in the room is that when you have fabulous content like The Onion has, you're going to live on really any medium and any form and format. That content certainly is key. And if you can make us laugh, you have us at hello. So without further ado, it's my pleasure to introduce Steve.
It's a pleasure to be here for several reasons, because David, I really enjoyed your talk, and it is almost unprecedented that I ever follow anybody who uses the word fuck 3 or 4 times. I, of course, use that word all the time, but you sort of stepped on all my lines, basically. The other thing is that we seldom get invited to places where really sophisticated and civilized people. How are we doing there, Buster? Civilized people gather to have intelligent discourse, except for maybe that guy with the hideous tie. And I never follow a script. This is the problem with me. But I got invited to give a speech at the Clinton Library not long ago, and so I prepared it. And the night before, the Clinton people called and said, there's this group of blue-haired Baptist ladies that show up for every single speech at the Clinton Library, and you're not going to say fuck, are you? It was like 11 o'clock Sunday night. I'm flying to Little Rock. And I said, of course not. I would never do anything like that. So these are some of the really nice things that people have said about us over the years. Some of them are true. But like The Onion, it's difficult to know. This one was particularly interesting to me because The Onion is the sole news outlet capable of acknowledging that it is not above the hue and cry, that it is in fact along for the ride, and that we have all of us together spiraled out of the darkness and down into something we cannot yet name or comprehend. It came from Brian Williams, the introduction to one of our books. I think it's really cool. I have no idea what it means. 0. I need sound. I need sound. All right. I'm going to stop that. Could we get an AV guy up here? I almost used that word, David. I'm a lot more entertaining, frankly, with sound. Not necessarily my sound. All right? This is really starting well. Can we go back up to play here? Gorgeous. This is what we do, among other things.
Spectators at the Breeders' Cup World Championships this weekend will see the first ever openly gay horse to run in a major stakes race. Jean Ann Wharton takes us beyond the facts.
Here at Santa Anita Park, many bettors are counting on two-time Beaumont winner Fantastic Feet to take the Breeders' Cup. But it's newcomer Ship's Captain that has everyone talking.
I see him at the head of the field, and I think, there's no way that horse is gay. But he is.
Trainer Gene Harris acknowledged the horse's sexual orientation in last week's Time magazine.
He can no more change the fact that he's gay than he can that he has 4 hooves.
There have been rumors of gay horses competing since the early days of thoroughbred racing. Flat Tire, Whirlybird, and Nor'easter were widely suspected to be homosexual. While the book Out in the Pasture revealed former Preakness champ Silver Dollar struggled to remain in the closet, going so far as breeding with mares to protect his secret. What were your biggest concerns about Ship's Captain coming out?
You know, the horses. I was worried how they'd react. Would they refuse to ride in the same trailer as him? They buck and snort when we walked in the stable.
Gaining the acceptance of other trainers and horses is only part of the battle. While many racing fans are commending Ship's Captain for his bravery, others aren't ready to accept the idea of a gay racehorse.
It's getting a bad name on racing.
No, I don't think there should be anything like that. I think everything should be natural.
It ain't right.
I'm worried about all the other horses that are with them, that they're, you know, they have to eat together and they might get horse AIDS or something like that.
There's an astonishing amount of ignorance out there. I'll be in a stable with Ship's Captain and I'll hear a jockey say, "That's so gay." And I'll think, I hope he can't understand human language.
Despite the horse's high profile, Harris says Ship's Captain's priority is to race, not make a political statement.
Ship's Captain is here because he's fast, not because he's gay. There are other gay horses. You know, people go out to a petting farm, there's gay ponies out there that they're petting. There's gay plow horses. This is a part of the world.
The latest odds on Ship's Captain winning the Breeders' Cup are 16-1, but don't count him out just yet. He's already overcome much greater odds just by being himself. From Beyond the Facts, I'm Jean Ann Wharton.
Thanks, Jean Ann. We'll all be watching to see how that gay horse fares.
You can see why it's good to be preceded by a guy who drops the F-bomb every third word. The sort of urban myth is that the Onion was founded at the University of Wisconsin-Madison back in 1988 by a bunch of stoned, drunk, hallucinating college students. But like everything else about the Onion's history, it's difficult to know if that's true. It's difficult to separate fact from fiction. Everything is possible, David. The reason I call this into question is because that's a 1783 edition of The Onion. And the other story that has made the rounds is that it was actually started by an Austrian tuber farmer named Friedrich Zwiebel, Zwiebel meaning onion, and that he traded a sack of yams for a printing press in 1783, and thus began the Mercantile Onion, which eventually morphed into the Onion newspaper. And I don't know which one of those things is true, frankly. I've been around since like 1789, so I would have no way of knowing. So for the sake of this conversation today, let's say that it started at the University of Wisconsin, which it may have, and it was a campus phenomenon, and it dealt largely with things in Madison, Wisconsin, and was really just a conveyance for pizza coupons, and a damn good one, I might add. This is one of my favorites, because Tommy Thompson was the 4-time governor of Wisconsin, and this occurred about a month before his 4th election. And Tommy incidentally went on to become the Secretary of Health and Human Services under the Bush administration, but we think we got him elected, frankly. because prior to that, he was a pretty dim bulb, frankly. So that's the University of Wisconsin period. We thought that that was so simple, frankly, inventing all that copy, that we thought we'd invent radio. You know, there'd been this guy Marconi, and then eventually over the years there was another guy named Limbaugh and Glenn Beck and everything, but they didn't do anything really worth a shit. So we decided that we would hire this man who's been the face of the Onion Radio Network for many, many years, Doyle Redland. He's a great American, still lives on the shores of Lake Michigan in Racine, Wisconsin, has 2 dogs named Freedom and Liberty. And Doyle's been broadcasting on the American Comedy Radio Syndicate, also on theonion.com, and in tens of millions of radio stations around the world.
It's the Onion Radio News. A really fun toy has been banned after killing 3 stupid kids. This is Doyle Redland reporting. The Whizco Toy Company of Montclair, New Jersey, has voluntarily recalled 245,000 Aqua Assault Robo-Fighters after 3 dumb kids managed to kill themselves playing with the popular toy and ruining the fun for everyone else. Whizco President Alvin Cassidy.
These 3 retards came along and somehow found a way to get themselves killed. So now we have to do a full recall and halt production on what was a really awesome toy. What a waste.
Each of the deaths was determined to be the result of gross misuse of the toy, an incredibly cool device that could shoot both plastic missiles and long jets of water simultaneously. Doyle Redland for the Onion Radio News. A drowning supermodel is rescued to death. It's the Onion Radio News. This is Doyle Redland reporting. Supermodel Donica Sanviago's rescue from drowning by a large group of extremely helpful men turned to tragedy today when she succumbed to their vigorous attempts at resuscitation. Bartender Andy Swindon told reporters Sanviago was in trouble for, quote, only a few seconds when 20 to 25 men dove into the pool and pulled her from the water.
They kept on giving her CPR over and over again, and there was just too many guys, and by the time the paramedics arrived, it was too late.
Last year, supermodel Pauline Poroskova was badly injured in a similar incident and remains on life support in a lovely but vegetative state. Doyle Redland for the Onion Radio News, online at theonion.com.
Doyle's a great man and a great sense of sensitivity. So we published this newspaper for a number of years, and then we went to Chicago and we went to Milwaukee and other places around the Midwest, Big Ten schools, Champaign or Urbana. And then we decided, we had a meeting in like the mid-90s, and there was this really strange creature coming around. It was called the Internet. We never thought it would last. And this protracted argument went on, and it was $450 a month to go on. And so we decided to take the great leap of faith and to go on the Internet. And began to publish on the Internet at $450 a month, and this suddenly transformed the Onion into a local phenomenon, into an international phenomenon. Oprah's always been one of our favorite people. We just like women in general. I don't know if you can read the headline, but it says, "Women, why don't they lose some weight?" And finally, this is good at 10 o'clock in the morning on Monday, right? I mean, worse things have happened to you. This is a weekend edition that we do. In exile for 50 years from his native Tibet, His Holiness the Dalai Lama ponders the eternal question, where are the girls at? Terrific. Political commentary? Obama's election. Are you groaning? There's coffee out there. Bush, can I stop being president now? Which I personally think was a good thing. And this was a really sad thing. I actually showed this at the Clinton speech. Bill was so looking forward to being First Lady. So that was our foray, and we've been doing it ever since, and today we have 10 million uniques online monthly. And then, just like the newspapers and the radio and the web, you know, all came so easy to us, frankly. It may be difficult for a lot of you people. I've talked to a lot of you people this morning. I'm imagining it was difficult for you. But for us, it was pretty simple. So we decided to do books. And this was our first book in Is Danny Greenberg here today? Our agent? Well, that's great, Danny. In any event, this was our compilation book for the Onion headlines for the entire 20th century. Things like that. And then one of Noel's son's favorite books was called Our Dumb World. It was the 73rd edition of the Atlas of the Planet Earth. It was our version of an atlas, and it had, as you can see up in the corner, 30% more Asia. There was a free globe inside, and it had much, much curvier latitude lines. That was really cool. And this is the kind of thing we had inside France, for example. I wish I could see that from here, but we really took no prisoners. And I think it says, I wrote it down here somewhere about France, France being one of my really favorite people, places rather, also the French being some of my favorite people. I can't remember what it says, but essentially it says that France is home to the entire world's population, all its culture, and that's why we called it One Nation Above God. It is the only country in the world. Those of you who have traveled to France will, yeah, David's nodding his head. And France was so cool that we did 2 pages on it, including the pint-sized Napoleon over there, which resonated. Behind all of these things that you're laughing at hysterically, I would argue, and that's a whole nother speech that I give, and so you can, you know, if you want to call Noel, you can book me for extraordinarily high price, is the truth, lies the truth. This was the edition that we published the week after September 11th, when it was not okay to laugh anymore. If you recall Letterman and Leno and people like that, they said, you can't possibly laugh. We don't know how to do it. We published this. It was nominated for the Pulitzer Prize, and it should have won, in my estimation, but caused a great stir in the jury there because they said, you cannot take a satirical newspaper, and particularly one that says, the rest of the country temporarily feels sympathy for New York, which is the way I still feel today, actually, years later. And one of our great compilation books, Frito-Lasia cuts off diplomatic relations with Snackistan. Thought that was terrific. Also, I like the guy with the plutonium, and also the CIA suddenly realizing that it's been using black highlighters all these years. We have 2 new books coming out this fall. One of them I can say, because it's not a secret, is a sports book. The other is another big Onion book. It'll be, 2011 is the sports book. 2012 is the next big Onion book. And so you should put it on your calendars and buy it. Or maybe we can just take names later, Noel, and I could sell it to everybody. That would be good. So book publishing obviously was a layup for us. And we wondered for years if we could possibly translate the Onion comedic sensibility into video. So we started in 2005, 2006 to discuss the possibility of the Onion News Network, which would be something like cable television. You'll see what I mean. And we took a bunch of kids from, we were at the time the sponsor of the Columbia University Film Festival, so we took a bunch of kids from Columbia who were very smart, and I don't know if that was part of David's comments. You said hire smart people or surround yourself or call smart people. We hire smart people, and in our business, since our demographic tends to be young, the younger they are, the smarter they are, and I just nod my head and look, furrow my brow and say, that sounds really good, do that. So we started the Onion News Network in 2007. Oh, I missed it. Darn it. Do you think I dare go back? book publishing. This is really something I hadn't given enough talk to. Okay, just bear with me for a second. I'm doing great. That was fun. You're enjoying seeing this twice, I know that. Because a lot of times it's so subtle you can't get it the first time. And the mystery books that are coming, and finally the Onion News Network. I gave you the little run-up to that. And this is kind of what our promo looked like originally, a web series. Probably should have cut that out, right? So we started, and interestingly, for those who like to make money off of what they publish, we promised our advertisers 200,000 views a week, and in the very first week, we had 1 million views, and that's how we capitalize on that. So the Onion News Network launched, and as I said, a lot like CNN, Fox News, you'll get...
Desperate attempt to fill 24 hours of programming. Here's some bullshit that happened somewhere today. We've got some footage here of the bullshit, which began just after 3 o'clock this afternoon, when residents in this neighborhood were shocked to see this fairly common thing happening. An attractive witness described the event in breathless terms.
I went to my window and I was like, whoa, there's some bullshit happening.
That happened right over there. I'm an older man, so you can trust what I say.
Authorities in special uniforms rushed to the scene to stand around while our cameras filmed them. Our reporter Keith Collins joins us now live from the scene of the bullshit through the use of expensive technology. Good to be with you again, Keith. We have a colorful graphic here that shows instances of bullshit like this are on the rise. Is that right?
Yes, although why is unclear. Some say it's because of one fucking reason. Others say it's because of some other fucking reason. I talked to this random expert on the subject who told me this thing you're about to hear him say right after he points at a piece of paper.
I spent my entire life attending the nation's most prestigious schools to talk about bullshit like this. I'm really just happy to be on TV.
Now let's see if we can drag this out a little longer by showing emails written by some of our viewers. I once saw some stuff kind of like the shit you're talking about happen. I have nothing more to add. Another person says, I am angry that things like this happen. I get mad about every bullshit thing I see. So obviously a lot of opinions there to make this story seem somewhat meaningful.
Oh, absolutely, Glenn. This bullshit has some broader implications. Here's a list of tips on how to avoid bullshit happening to you.
And here's some footage of Congress.
Yes, I see that.
Well, thank you, Keith. Let us know if there are any updates on this bullshit story from there.
There's no way there will be.
Very good. We'll check back with you in an hour anyway.
I'm just some fucking guy.
When we return, we'll...
Incidentally, I have no help whatsoever. I do all of this by my lonesome. Technology, very big among us.
The tech world is buzzing over Apple's latest must-have gadget, the MacBook Wheel, a revolutionary new laptop that does away with the keyboard. Tech Trends reporter Jeff Tate has more.
Thanks, Andrea. Say goodbye to the keyboard and hello to the future of laptop computers. With the MacBook Wheel, Apple has replaced the traditional keyboard with a sleek, touch-sensitive click wheel. Apple CEO Steve Jobs introduced the product yesterday at the annual Mac Expo. Senior product innovator Brian Gilman says the MacBook Wheel will make typing a thing of the past.
At Apple, our philosophy is create products that are simple to use, and nothing's more simple than a single giant button.
Gilman showed me how the revolutionary new computer works.
Just open the Intuitype alphabet menu here, scroll to the letter you need, see, and center click to select it. Then click again to capitalize, and repeat this process for each new letter. It couldn't be simpler.
Huh.
You can also let the predictive sentence technology complete the sentence for you.
Gilman says the MacBook Wheel has also simplified the organization of files, so searching your hard drive will be a snap.
Just press both sides of the wheel concurrently and center click, and there you have an alphabetical listing of every file on your hard drive. Everything is just a few hundred clicks away.
Apple is calling the MacBook Wheel the most intuitive product ever designed.
Here at Apple, we like to think that we're giving customers features they don't even realize they want yet.
While the MacBook Wheel won't hit the shelves for another 3 to 15 months, many Apple users already have it on their wish list.
I'll buy almost anything if it's shiny and made by Apple.
Alex Zalban was one of the lucky few to get to try out a Mac Wheel and spent 45 minutes typing an email to his friend.
I never really realized how much I hated keyboards until I saw this thing. I like how the email automatically says sent from a MacBook Wheel. That way people know you have one.
With a price tag of just under $2,600 for the lowest-end MacBook Wheel, it is an investment. But the super-thin laptop features numerous innovations like the new ultra-thin Hummingbird battery, which can power the MacBook Wheel for a full 19 minutes before needing to be recharged. And the computer is virtually unbreakable unless dropped or hit. But Apple isn't resting on its laurels. Brian Gilman said they are already hard at work on the next generation of the MacBook Wheel, which will be 4 ounces lighter due to its lack of screen hard drive or wheel. For the Onion News Network, I'm Jeff Tate.
Thank you for that, Jeff. It remains to be seen if the wheel will catch on in the business world where people use computers for actual work and not just dicking around. Moving on, police warn that the Sudoku killer will kill either 1, 4, or 9 victims next.
Funny, don't you think? The funny part of it is that that quite much to my surprise, I got a letter not very long after that season and nominating us for a Peabody Award with Saturday Night Live for their coverage of the election, and also 60 Minutes, and we won the Peabody Award. Stop, really. And this is...
The next Peabody goes to the most venerated, the most prestigious network, I should say, among the online originated parody news networks. It is the Onion News Network. Parody has never been so sharp, so precise, so perfectly performed.
That's actually the end. There's a lot more where he sucks up to me, but I don't want to show that. So we actually decided back in 2005 that as we morphed from a newspaper to the web to web video, very successful series for us, that if we did this right, we might be able to get onto television. And after we won the Peabody, the studios really besieged us. And we were very careful about who we wanted to make our first foray into television with. And we ended up with IFC. Do you know IFC, which is part of Rainbow Media, AMC, Mad Men, Sundance Channel, etc., because their demographics were very similar to ours, and they had this notion that they were going to transform themselves into a comedy network, get away from showing, as Howard Stern once said, old bullshit movies. Good, David? So we went to IFC and did a deal with them.
Coming to IFC, when your world is gripped by confusion and terror, there's only one news network.
Because you're so big and
it's definitely
scary.
The most exciting school shooting in years.
It begs the question, is stealing a child as easy as it seems?
Accurate.
Play your cards right here. You could become an insufferable rich asshole.
The violence here shows no signs of stopping ever.
Hard-hitting.
You are lying!
With over a century of broadcasting experience, 407 channels, 9 billion viewers across 811 countries, and cameras watching over 80% of the world's population. With anchor Brooke Alvarez, a glimmering lighthouse in the murky waters of cable news.
It's not always easy trying to talk sense into millions of people.
And an army of reporters bred to lack human empathy or compassion.
Everything you've been told is a lie. The only truth is here.
The Onion News Network is news without mercy.
So that started on April 21st, and we just got renewed last week for a second season. And in the television business, that's really good because it's a weird business, populated by weird people.
This is the
This
Onion
is probably
News
our biggest story of the year.
telling you what we want you to know.
Shocking, really. And many of you don't know.
Tonight, of course,
were focused on the devastating cyber attack by Al-Qaeda, which sent this image of a piglet wearing boots to the American public a few hours ago, effectively crippling our servers as millions of people forwarded the photo to friends, posted the image on their Facebook walls, or added it to their Twitter pages, causing millions more to respond with comments like "I want one" or "OMFG cute." Police in hundreds of cities are struggling to maintain order in the midst of internet outages that are disabling traffic signals, ATMs, hospital databases, and hundreds of other services. Joining me now to help walk us through this is General Theodore Cotty from the Pentagon and Todd Grant from the White House. Gentlemen, thanks for taking the time to speak with us. Mr. Grant, did the administration have any advance warning on this, any chatter?
Unfortunately not, Brooke. I was first alerted to the cyber attack at 4:51 p.m. today when a member of the National Security Council ran into my office with his laptop saying, "Oh my God, you have to look at this, it is so adorable."
Now, General Cotty, how was Al-Qaeda able to pull off an attack of this magnitude?
Well, our intelligence suggests their initial strike targeted a weak point in America's cyber defenses. 45-year-old stay-at-home mom Marianne Halberstroff of Jacksonville, Florida, who's been known to forward up to 12 chain emails and make over 40 Facebook posts about Farmville every day.
So, the perfect target.
Right. Within minutes of receiving the boot-wearing piglet from Al-Qaeda, she had sent it to more than 2,000 people, including her tropical fish-themed Yahoo group and everyone she was on the PTA with 6 years ago.
Yes, thank God the piglet was not wearing a little hat or the damage could be far worse.
And how is President Obama responding to this attack?
Well, as a defensive maneuver, he ordered the Pentagon to create a script that automatically loaded a photo of a nude elderly woman whenever the piglet photo was clicked on. Unfortunately, many citizens found it funny to send that to their friends as a prank. When we pulled it down, the nude elderly woman image was spreading 7 times faster than the piglet.
All right. Now, Al-Qaeda claimed credit for the attack a few hours ago in a video released to Al Jazeera. Let's take a look at that. And General Cotty, do we know what kind of attack was being alluded to in that video?
Well, recent satellite photos of Al-Qaeda camps show that they've been stockpiling kittens, babies, Star Wars costumes, even pandas.
Wow.
They could already possess the capability to construct a video so viral it could cripple the nation permanently.
Terrifying. Mr. Grant, General Cotty, thank you both for speaking with us.
You like that? That's good. You're smart. So then Comedy Central came, and we thought this was a good fit for us as well. They asked us to make a sports show, and we did. It's called
Sportsdome is coming your way.
Sportsdome.
You won't even believe all the sports we've gotten here.
We've got baseball, we've got football, and I'm totally blanking on the other sports, but we've got them too.
Onion Sportsdome, all new time, Tuesday at 8.
A regular feature is called the Onion Sports Girlfriends. I think you're going to like this.
In B-ball, tough finish for Jazz fans. Last night, Darren Williams missed 2 free throws in the fourth that could have put the game away. Mark Shepard's got all the X's and O's with the OSN Girlfriends.
Welcome to OSN Girlfriends, where a rotating panel of women whose boyfriends had the game on break it down for you. Lisa Cantrell, Brenda Kenyon, Vicky Houle, welcome back.
Thanks for having us. Good to be back.
All right, Darren Williams gave away a victory to the Thunder last night. What went wrong in this one?
I thought it was a nice game, and they were going back and forth a lot. And then that little guy missed the shot, and I thought that was kind of sad.
Wait, what happened? Sorry, I was on my laptop.
This guy for Utah had a chance to win the game, and then he missed these free shots.
Oh, no, right. I heard the announcer say he totally choked.
Okay, that is not fair. I mean, yes, I was voting for the orange team, but it's not like that guy meant to miss on purpose, you know?
A key moment in the game, you're a team leader, you got to make those shots.
Everyone can't make every shot every time. Exactly. I'll bet he makes them a lot of the other times, right?
80% from the line his career. It's pretty good.
But think of the pressure out there. He knows that if he misses, everyone's going to scream at him.
Yeah, you know, I don't know why he didn't just grab the ball, run to the basket,
10:00.
shoot it through from closer.
You
That
can't
would've
do that
been
on
easier.
free shots, I don't think.
But he could have done it before, right?
All right, well, the Jazz thought they're getting a franchise player in Williams. Are they now going to be regretting that $70 million extension?
Wait, he gets paid how much?
That's too much.
Sorry. Yeah, he should get paid less than a teacher.
Absolutely.
So at least you're saying he's underachieving now.
No, it's just my sister's a teacher.
Exactly.
Well, I don't know. He's good at dribbling, and they paused the game once to show his mom in the stands, and she looked so proud of him.
It was really adorable. Wait, I missed that too.
Amazing.
I was looking at travel sites.
Where are you guys
going?
going?
I think John and I are going to visit his sister in Panama.
Panama?
Like a
Are
week.
you
I know.
kidding
It's going to be amazing. I think like spring break, March.
Exactly.
This This loss represents the 4th in 5 games for Utah. Routine road bump, or is this now a cause for concern?
Concern for what? It's just basketball.
Yeah, like in the scheme of things, it's not that big of a deal.
All right, well, there you have it. Basketball, not that big of a deal. Pleasure as always, ladies.
Not everything we've done, to pick up on David's theme, has gone exactly according to plan. A few years ago, we invented a sort of a pre-Groupon pop culture vehicle on the web, and it was a bomb. I won't go any further than that. We decided we wanted to get paid content, so we developed this thing called Future News, which I just fast-forwarded through by mistake. Great hit with the critics. Critics all over the country loved it, including the New York Times, and taught me a lesson that I think I already knew, and that is that the fact that the critics like it doesn't necessarily mean it's going to be a success. But as we move from platform to platform, you can see what we started to do, and that is develop our own apps. And first we developed them in Bangalore, didn't you all? And now we build them in-house. And all of our apps are sponsored by someone, so we sell them as sponsorships. And they pay handsomely for the exposure, and we've had enormous success with apps. This is a Today Now app, which is one of our morning news shows online. This is the Sports Dome, the show you just witnessed with the OSN girlfriends. They were adorable. The Onion app. And last Friday, to great critical acclaim, I should note, we released our first iPad app, which we built in-house as well. So, I mean, the theme here, I think, is that I'm not sure anything is possible, but a lot of things are possible when you start with really good content. And the beating heart and the center of gravity for us is definitely our writers. Since I think a lot of you people are print people, and we started in print, and our roots are in print, I'm absolutely a contrarian in this camp. I think that there is a future for print as long as the content is good. And I think David's demonstration, I mean, that was terrific, I thought. We decided at one point, after being besieged for years by people who wanted to own an Onion franchise, and we said no because we wanted to control the brand. We finally said, wait a minute, you know, if they're in Santa Fe or they're in San Francisco or Austin or all around the country, they probably know their market better than we do. We want to control the content 100%, but we are entirely comfortable in having them sell the ads, print, and distribute. And what we found is that our media partners, particularly, and individual franchisees, to some extent, wanted to add something to their print portfolio that drew a younger audience. It's not much more complicated than that, and a different set of advertisers as well. So we started to advertise for franchisees, and we thought we'd get individuals at first, but as it turned out, we got media companies. Media companies came to us and said, we really want it. The Denver Post, the Austin American-Statesman, the St. Paul Pioneer Press, the Philadelphia Inquirer, and on and on and on. So we had 9 of these newspapers at the end of last year, Washington, New York, and we've added 4, and we have, I'd say, 100 live applications right now, including a couple of foreign applications where people speak English and get our jokes and have a really sick sense of humor. So that's a map of the United States without our franchises on it. That's kind of cool. And then suddenly it gets populated. And that's where we are at this moment. And in 2 weeks, it'll be different. And the franchisees, just to give you the basics of it, they pay us a downstroke for the privilege of having the Onion in their market. And then we charge them a licensing fee. And as I say, they do the business. We have 100% control over the content because at the end of the day, we are a content producing company. And it's not really worth our time to do other things. So a lot of this was born out of sheer creativity and brilliance, which I'm sure you picked up on by now. But a lot of it was just by the changing nature of the market, the changing nature of the ad market, our desire never to be caught with our pants down again in terms of what happens when the ad market crashes, and so we started to develop new products, move into new platforms, and so far so good. The answer was to diversify. One of the things that has helped us dramatically, and I'll be done shortly, so I know you people have calls to make, is social media. A Hewlett-Packard study that came out a few weeks ago assessing the 4 most influential Twitter sites in America, and we ended up as the number 4 most influential site. We have about 3 million Twitter followers, and they do follow us. Here are just a couple examples. The Bowl Championship Series. We sort of owned it. We did really well. The Super Bowl, we hit it out of the park. That's a baseball analogy, right? What do? Kick it out of the stands? I don't know. But the Oscars, I thought, was fascinating because we had live tweeting, and other than the Academy itself, we had more Twitter followers the night of the Academy Awards than anyone else in the civilized, or probably even the uncivilized world. And so you're wondering, I'm sure, is this just a whole bunch of birdseed, or as David would say, bullshit, entertainment, or do I really have something to say to you? The answer is just a bunch of entertainment. I mean, you have to kind of figure it out for yourself. I personally think you're going to do great. And I think your horizons are limitless. I truly do. And that all the good things that'll happen to you because of the love of the printed word. So it's really been a pleasure to be here today. And that's all I have to say. I mean, Noel said, do something funny, so I kind of did. I'm happy to take a question or two, providing they don't compromise my integrity, which is hard to compromise anymore. Don't you want to know, do we get sued all the time? That's a common question. No, we do not get sued all the time. We get threatened a lot. For example, we did a story saying that Shawn Johnson, the Olympic gymnast, had broken her ankle, and so her parents had been forced to put her down because what is a gymnast without 2 good ankles? And at first, interestingly, we got a barrage, you know, her lawyers, her publicists, how could you do this to her? We said, she's not any good anymore. I mean, she's kind of like a horse. And then by like day 4, she got the joke. And so she went on Twitter and said, isn't this a scream? And drove everybody to our site, which was terrific. We do best with people and brands that are willing to get the joke. People like Toyota, BMW, Jameson, Amstel Light, Budweiser. You see a pattern here? Drink really fast and drink a lot. I mean, drive really fast and drink a lot. So we get threatened a lot, really interesting threats too. Our finest moments are when we do something and people take it, they think it's the gospel truth, which of course it is, but not exactly in the conventional sense. We did a story that said that Congress was threatening to move the capital of the United States to Nashville unless they got a new Capitol building with retractable dome and luxury seating. And it ran for like 3 days on the front of the Beijing Daily News. We did a story last year saying that Neil Armstrong had finally come clean, that he'd never been on the moon at all. That the entire thing was shot on a soundstage in Nevada. And it made the front page in, I know, 2 papers in India, 2 in Bangladesh, and they usually call us and they're incensed and they say, you are a capitalist operation. You make things up in order to draw advertising and to make money. And we say, yeah, pretty much. It's what we do. Anyway, lots of other things we're working on at the moment. New video products, franchising. I expect that at the end of this year we'll be in 25 cities. And life is good. After not being so good, as I'm sure it was for you in 2008, 2009, we had some of these ideas ahead of time. We knew we had to be multi-platform. We looked at our demographics. We knew that they were going different places. 20% of our traffic today comes from mobile devices of one sort or another, and it's growing geometrically every year. So our business is changing, like your business is changing. But our answer to being a print publication, we still love our print roots, was that we better pay close attention to the media landscape, and we better try to get ahead of it every chance we get. And so far, if you hire a lot of smart young people and give them a ping pong table and a Mac, I'm not kidding. Just be amazed at what you can do. So, yeah.
I download your podcasts a lot,
Yeah.
and you don't seem to sell ads on those. So how do you make any money off that?
We make money on them when our philosophy about advertising is that it's the Cracker Jacks. That's which we have a meeting every morning. And we have standard media like everybody else does, whether in print or online. And everybody can get standard media, but they can't get the toy inside the Cracker Jack. So the toy can be an app. The toy can be exclusive sponsorship of the podcast. The truth is the podcast business was great for us. Onion Radio News was a great business for us. It's now kind of a supplementary toy business for us that really does matter and is the difference between getting a buy and not getting a buy. But when web video began, it changed things dramatically. And it's a longer story, but it really changed the whole structure. We were able to get ungodly CPMs for Onion News Network, which is essentially television on the web. We were the only people doing it. College Humor, Funny or Die. Funny or Die did some stuff with Will Ferrell, of course. He owns part of the company. But it was an unsustainable business model in a lot of ways, so we had to find other ways, combining it with conventional media in order to make the sale. So I guess that's a long way of saying, or at least a circuitous way of saying that it was a great business until video came along, and then the world changed completely. I mean, we were certainly the only people doing really high production value video on the web, and then all of a sudden, advertisers, they liked it, they loved it, they gave us Peabodys, but they wanted eyeballs, they wanted reach, and then they wanted stunts. I'm sure you all know this, they want stunts, they want tricks, they want execution. So that's a whole nother conversation, but it's changed. We still love Onion Radio News. I hate to admit this, we still run it every single day. We've got thousands and thousands and thousands in the can, and the truth is that the listenership of ORN, the reruns, is as good today as it was when we were cranking out 7 a week. So scale and using old stuff. So we're involved in a lot of these different things. We have no intention to stop producing newspapers. We have no intention of stop doing television. We'll probably announce in 3 weeks that we have a major, and if there's anybody in the press, don't ask me because I won't tell you, but we have a major development deal with a network that has trouble producing comedy. So we're trying to make money in every imaginable way and grow our audience. And you've been really nice people and very attentive, and you have a reasonably good sense of humor, and God bless you.